Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Slappin Kpop podcast. I am Kayla, and today I am joined with Sammi.
Hello.
And we are,
We've been broken.
That's been a long week.
So, Happy New Year. This
Happy
is the first,
New Year, first of all.
So we took a little bit of a break. You didn't notice because we've had episodes coming out every week, but we took a little break in recording.
This is the first episode we're recording of 2021.
Yes. So, exciting for that. But also, in that time, we've done some soul searching.
We really have. So,
and the next two episodes are going to be fun.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
A bit of a spoiler for an upcoming episode is we decided we were going to do a retrospective on the entirety of the Produce series.
And it's
all
mainly
countries.
because essentially to celebrate or to mourn, whatever you prefer, the end of Korean produce with the end of IZ*ONE, whenever that happens, we're doing a full retrospective on Korean, Japanese, and Chinese produce that is out up till now. All of them.
11 seasons of
11
Produce.
full seasons of this show. And yes, that show did only start 5 years ago. So yes, there have been 11 seasons in 5 years.
And so we have now watched 6 of them.
Yes.
And one of those included Produce Japan 101. Produce 101 Japan.
Yes.
And that was one of our favorites.
It might be my favorite.
It's my favorite season of Produce
it's questionable.
that I've seen so far.
Other next week's episode, which you'll see, is another contender for the best episode for the best season of this show.
Yes.
But this one is maybe the best season of Produce you've never watched because I haven't met.
Well,
anybody.
I like to call it the best worst season of Produce that you've never seen.
Because it's also not good.
It's also not good, but it's also the best at the same time.
The talent level is very different. So essentially, this is an official spin-off of Produce.
Yes.
It's done by CJE&M. It's all official. It's all above board. No one's getting sued. And it aired in 2019.
Yes.
So it is the same setup as regular Produce, too. So it's 100 boys. They make an 11-member boy group. And that boy group is, if you've heard of them, J01.
Yes.
It's
the big difference here between Japanese and Korean Produce is the trainees who go on the show cannot have affiliations with any companies. They're essentially casted off the street, and because of that, J01 is a permanent group and not a temporary group.
So
also,
you can actually get
also gonna preface, we are fully aware the group's official name is J01. But we have been calling it J01 since before we even watched the show because I saw that name and just in my brain I was like, that's a 0. And that just sounds like it's the right name.
And J01 sounds right because 101, 01...
It just sounded
makes
right.
sense.
And so we're fully aware the name of the group is J01, but we will continue to call them J01 just because we're too far down that hole now.
We've already... Look, we know all of them. We love the group. We both own full J01 discographies.
We both own their full discography.
Physically.
We're really deep into J-pop right now.
Spoilers for the end of this show. We are very invested in this group and we love all the members.
I love them so much. I absolutely adore them.
Fully invested. So, this show, it starts out like any Produce season. You get the weird pyramid thing with the very uncomfortable looking chairs. Mm-hmm. And everyone comes in. Okay, so here's the other fun thing with this show is since they don't have company affiliations, they don't come in based on company. They group them together
randomly divided into 35 different groups with varying numbers of people in it that just share some type of quality.
And the numbers can be there's 4 or 5 kids that come in by themselves as solo and they audition solo. Mm-hmm. There's people that come in pairs. There's people that come in 3s, 4s, 5 or there's one that's 6 or 7 people.
Yeah. There's a bunch of kids who just live in the same city who they just you're just going to be in a group together. And that's what a lot of them are. A lot of them are, they either go to the same school or they live in the same city or something really boring like that.
Or they're and then there's the more fun ones where they're all models or they're all child actors or they're all backup dancers. Mm-hmm. And the fun thing with those backup dancers are actually former backup dancers for 101. And also for FT Island.
And Pentagon. It's like a very bizarre collection of groups to be backup dancers for.
It's very odd, but we love them. And like there's my favorite and our both of our favorite group, which is Six Pack.
Six Packs.
Six Pack is 3 guys, Sho,
I love them.
Anda, and
Junki,
who are just
six packs. It is literally what it says. They are in the group together because they have 6 packs. Like that is why they're
journey
grouped
with
together.
both of them. In that when they first come in, they're very like extra.
They're incredibly obnoxious.
Almost to the point of obnoxious. And so, like, we're like, oh, they're here for their bodies. Cool.
Yes. Only their bodies. Bodies alone. Bodies.
Yes, they're the hot ones. And then they all come in and we start the process of auditions. And they
all 3 of them. Sing. All 3 of them main vocals. All 3 of them.
Like they're here for their bodies and their voices.
This entire show.
They're great. They're amazing vocalists. Do we also want to talk about our conspiracy theory with Team Sky?
Oh, yes. Team Sky. So it's called Team Sky because one of them is actually named Sky, like the English word for sky. And the other one is named Sora, who is, like, and his name is, like that's what Sky in Japanese is. So that's why they're Team Sky.
So there's 2 of them. And when they come in, arbitrarily they get, like, you know, the whole, like, explanation of who they are and everything. And it's like, oh, we've made an amazing bond. Period. Do not explain what that means. So we're like... Are you brothers? Are you best friends? Are you cousins?
Did you just meet today?
Are you what does that mean? So I think our arbitrary explanation is that they're in love.
They're in love.
It's
they're
fine.
Just in love.
I'm just like, are you friends? Because they didn't even explain how. They don't explain the Team Sky aspect. I'm assuming if you speak Japanese, it makes you put it together. You would just in your brain.
That. Yeah.
But, we don't, so we didn't put that connection together, so we just looked at 2 people in a group that said they had a very special bond, and we're like, are you best friends? Are you brothers? Are you cousins? Are you in love? Are you childhood best friend? Like, what? Did you meet today? Like, what?
Yeah, like,
what
who are you?
Why do you have a bond? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
I need more of an explanation. They never explain it.
None. We get none.
So that is sort of why they came out. And then...
I also want to say that, so we've given just arbitrary nicknames to a lot of these people.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I would also like to say that's because the first, 2 episodes of the show where they showed auditions, they subtitled the names really stupidly, where they just gave, 3-letter abbreviations for everyone. And I'm like, well, that's not helping me learn anyone's name. These 3 letters here. And so we just started giving them... Arbitrary names.
Abbreviations. Also, one of them is just also... A few of them are just names of equivalent 101 members.
Yes.
In that there is one kid. I want editor Kayla to put the image you showed me yesterday.
This kid is just Japanese Ong Sung-woo. It is just Ong Sung-woo.
Twin.
It's just Ong Sung-woo.
Japanese twin. They look identical.
He comes in by himself. He gets the Ong Sung-woo edit. It's like this kid is just Ong Sung-woo.
He is Ong Sung-woo. Also, if this season is like anything, I know this season came out around the same time that Produce X was airing.
Yeah.
This season is just Produce Season 2.
Rip-off, low-budget Produce Season 2. Everything about it is just, you can make a direct comparison back to Produce Season 2.
And if anybody knows, the kid we're calling Ong Sung-woo, his name is Issei.
Mamehara Issei.
Issei.
That is Ong Sung-woo.
That is Ong Sung-woo. Yes. So, we have a few standout trainees. We already talked about Team Sky. The one that stands out in Team Sky is Sky.
The one actually named Sky.
Actually is named Sky.
Yes.
We also have a Korean YouTuber named Lee Min-hyuk.
Yep.
Who is not that talented, but just we recognize him because he cries every 5
a lot.
seconds.
He cries
there's
so
just
much.
a general large amount of crying in this show.
Oh, there's so much crying.
A ridiculous amount of crying.
So much
they
crying.
Cry for everything. And
this is the most crying I've ever seen in any season of Produce, and this is the season where the stakes are probably the lowest too, because no one has a career.
Yeah, in Korean Produce, you have the fact of you've been training for years of your life. You are a trainee. You possibly were already in a group. You're possibly here for redemption, whatever. And, this is, they're a bunch of kids off the street. They don't have a career. They can only benefit from this, and everyone is constantly crying.
All the time. There's a lot of crying on this show.
Oh, so to also have a connection to Produce, we have June from Produce X.
He came in 91st place on Produce
His
X.
claim to fame is that he was in the performance of Light. That's the only performance he did.
Because then he got eliminated in 91st place.
It was also bad. And he
almost, that's almost last place.
There's not 100 places on those shows because there's always like 3 or 4 people
99, 98. That's like so close to last.
He did very badly. But
he's a celebrity here.
Fucking celebrity.
Celebrity.
Like, he is a god amongst them. He's like, oh shit, he was on actual Produce.
Mm-hmm.
He trained in Korea, and I'm like, cool.
This kid went on one Korean show.
He was on like 2 episodes of that show.
He got like maybe like a minute and a half of screen time his entire time he was there.
This seems like he does genuinely seem like one of those kids where his auditions in montage, he gets low on the pick-me, so he doesn't get any screen time, and then he's like a background character in his one performance.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
He's also a rapper, and he doesn't rap a single time, like on Produce X past his audition. He just has to sing after that.
I mean, he did one performance, and Light doesn't really have that much of a rap either. So that's him. We have the genuinely we have the genuinely 3 people that actually do have stakes in this show.
Yes.
Is, anyone remember the boy group Halo?
We got 3 members of Halo.
I didn't know Halo had disbanded.
No, I didn't know they disbanded either.
I looked on K-pop profiles for them because I couldn't remember, like I was just looking at what happened to Halo. They still have them as an active boy group, and they actively say on the show, oh yeah, our boy group disbanded.
We disbanded earlier this year, and I was like, oh, when did this happen?
I heard of, no one told me that the boy group Halo had disbanded. Not that I particularly was paying attention.
We can draw even more comparisons to Produce Season 2 because this is just Discount New West storyline here.
Because, no offense to Halo, but Halo is no Newest. Yeah. Newest at least had like, oh shit, they had a great their story arc was they had a great debut, and then like, their popularity went to shit. Halo had nothing.
Halo was just in obscurity their entire career. I would also like to preface this, just the entire audition thing and the entire show by saying, any sort of standards you have for talents in Korean Produce,
throw it away.
You need to take them and put it on the ground.
Throw it away.
Put your standards on the ground for Produce
I'm
Japan.
sorry, if you come into this show, we said kids off the street.
We really mean kids off the street.
Kids off the... Think your friend, think the person you know that thinks they can sing, and then it's like, okay, you're like, fine. Do not think Korean Produce. When we're saying Ong Sung-woo, do not think of Ong Sung-woo.
No, Japanese Ong Sung-woo is not real Ong Sung-woo. Can't even compare. Can't compare to real Ong Sung-woo.
Do not think of Ong Sung-woo's talent level anywhere near this show, because I think what we've come to realize that Ong Sung-woo is the most talented person to ever have been put on a Produce, period. And I will stand by that opinion.
Yes.
Ong Sung-woo is the most talented person to ever be in a Produce group. Any of them. Male or female. Kayla kind of agrees.
I would agree.
She agrees.
He is very good. And the Korean Produce, yes.
I haven't
seen all of Chinese Produce yet, so I cannot speak for
Neither
Chinese
have
Produce.
I, but I'm willing to go out on a limb until I'm proven wrong. When I'm proven wrong, I will change that statement on actual... We'll see if that holds up with the actual Produce retrospective. But at this moment,
I remember watching these auditions and just... They're so bad.
They're not good. Just so the 3 Halo member names are Haechun, Youngdong, and Younghoon.
And I remember the Halo audition, I'm like, wow, they're amazing.
They're amazing.
And if 3 members of Halo is like the S+ standard of this show, just think of that the entire time. Is that the S+ talent standard is 3 members of Halo? Another
group of people, another 3 boys that did pretty well in their audition was the
UN backers. Who are the backup dancers.
Ren is there, and Ren... Spoilers, is our center. We love him.
He's the pick-me center.
He's the pick-me center. And they do My Swagger by GOT7, which I just wanted to point out because it's My Swagger
It's very
by GOT7.
funny. It's so funny. Just you seeing the random Japanese versions of, like, Japanese songs by K-pop groups is
like,
very funny.
Like, you just hear it, and it starts out, and I'm like, no, not this song.
And it's like, oh, My Swagger, that's what we're doing.
Oh my god. Also, we don't have this kid's name here because we don't care. But there's one kid that doesn't end up mattering, but does audition with the Neon Genesis Evangelion.
And he's just there, like, doing a contemporary dance to the Neon Genesis Evangelion opening.
And I just want to point that out because it exists.
That was fun.
And
I
recommend looking it up. I highly recommend that kid for his audition only.
Yes. I don't know what his name is or what he did after that, but...
we have one kid we just started calling Takumi, who we just started calling Kang Daniel because of his hair.
He has the Kang Daniel pink hair and also has, he makes a rise up to, like, first, second place in the middle of the show like Kang Daniel does, so we just call him Kang Daniel.
We called him Kang Daniel for a very long time. We have...
Yugo.
Who
we refer to as Baby because he walks in with these 3 other kids. They look like maybe 12 years old.
They all look
everyone
12.
There is like, oh, we're letting on like 12-year-olds onto produce.
And then you
Japan.
look at him and he's 18 years old.
He's 18 years old.
He's 18 years old.
And he's got to be like 5 foot, this kid. He's small.
5 foot. He's Nako sized. If
he's
all of you definitely know what Eyes One is. He's Nako sized.
He is a tiny human.
He's a tiny boy. He has the voice that fits his body.
Yes.
Which is a tiny body.
He looks like a 12-year-old, like
and
a
they
child.
Style him that way as well.
Like a child.
Like a child.
He is a full-grown adult.
He's a full-grown adult man. And they style him like a child. And he has the voice of a child. And we called him Baby for the whole show. We love him.
I love him. He is adorable. I love him.
We also have... So this is the one I think so let's get through the other 2 that I don't have much to say about. We have one person that we just call Old Man.
Old Man? Because he looks like he's like 28 years old.
He's kind of like 25, I think we looked up. Since Honda.
But he looks so old.
He looks so old, and they all go to him as if he is some kind of mentor figure.
He's like this wise mentor figure.
He's this wise mentor figure, and he just looks way older than the rest of them. Mm-hmm. And then we have... Do you want to go with him? Do you want to explain him?
So we have this kid. He has a really long name that I cannot pronounce, but they call him Hiko a lot. And I remember watching the produce, like the Pygmies, and the B class comes in on a platform. There's this kid right in the middle.
No, it's C class. Is it a C class?
No, he's in B class.
He's in B class. Okay.
And he's got the most like obnoxious expression on his face, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna hate that kid.
And he lasts very long in this show, and we have to deal with him for a very long time.
He is like at a 15 when he should be at like a 9 at like all points in time. He is a lot, and he gets so much screen time. A lot. He's not untalented, is the thing. He's a talented kid, but he is just incredibly obnoxious.
We just want him to tone it down.
He's got to tone it down a lot.
Like, if we want a 7 and he's at a 15, I'll take a 10 at this point.
Yeah, like, you just have to tone it down.
a little bit down. Please.
And he gets this weird thing in his audition where he has this whole backstory, because he's one of the kids who comes in by himself. Mm-hmm. He has this whole backstory about how he has 5 sisters, and I'm like, why do I care if he has 5 sisters? Like, why are you telling me this?
And also, he says he has 5 sisters. We only ever see 4 of them.
I know, and I was like, so he's got another sister that's just
like, where
gone.
Is she? Is she, like, there? Is she the one taking the pic? Because we only ever see 4. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what happened?
We see 4 and then the mom, and I'm just
4
like...
4 and a mom, and that's it.
I'm like, why do I care about any of this at all? Like,
and then we have our boy.
Our boy.
We have Shion, who comes in, and we immediately call him from audition, and then
anime protagonist.
Worse. Anime protagonist.
He is the anime protagonist of this show.
He is. So he comes in, he has this whole redemption arc planned out for himself because he was apparently at one point scouted by a Korean company. Rejected,
which we later found out was FNC.
When we first thought we thought it'd be really funny.
I thought it was
SM. And
I would have thought that would be so funny.
And he got kicked out for Shotaro, but that would the timeline does not make
sense.
The
timeline doesn't work out for that.
That timeline does not work out, but it would be hilarious. In our brains, we pictured that before we figured out, because we went into this with no spoil. We saw J01 videos before.
I watched a J01 perform at K Contact, could not remember a single person in the group at all.
Exactly, like, we could not remember anybody. So, like, we sort of were like, when we
and
started
we watched
watching
the show in like 4 days, and we were just like, we have to get through it now so we don't spoil. We need spoilers, yeah.
So we watched the whole thing, and like, we couldn't remember anybody, so we stopped. We couldn't go figure out what company he was in. We didn't want to know if he was in J0. We wanted to know nothing. So we stopped. So for the whole show, we thought it was, in our brains, our headcanon was
I just wrote a headcanon that it was SM Entertainment.
But then we realized it was FNC, so that's out the window. But he could have been in P1 Harmony.
He could have been in P1 Harmony.
Oh god, that would have been...
That'd been really funny. But he's the last kid to show up to auditions.
Yes.
And he just walks in immediately and then just bows to everyone and says, "I hope you think of me as your rival."
Which is the most
and
anime
I'm like, is that not the most anime
protagonist
protagonist thing you can do?
And then he goes and sits in the first seat.
He goes and sits in the number 1 chair.
Doesn't he have to fight someone for the number 1 chair?
He has to fight someone. I don't remember what he does, but he has to fight someone for the number 1 chair. Yeah, I think
it's like arm wrestling. It's probably something like that. It's like fine, and he gets the number 1 chair and he sits there for a little bit, and then he's taken off for somebody else. There's a lot of moving of the number 1 chair on this show. Yes. That becomes like a big thing in this one.
Yes.
I feel like half the produces, it's something that they care about. Half of them, no one even tries.
Yeah, this show, and in particular, there was a lot of fights over the number 1 chair.
Number 1 chair.
Yes.
So those are, and then as the show goes on, and we'll get to it, anime protagonist becomes even more of an anime protagonist. Even more anime protagonist. Also, he also auditions with TVXQ's Keep Your Head Down, which is done twice on this show.
They do it again in round 2.
Why? Why TVXQ's Keep Your Head Down twice?
Twice.
But, like, he's fine. He's talented. We love Shion. But he's just the most anime protagonist person.
He is the anime protagonist.
So... that is all of the notable contestants. And not all of these notable contestants are in the group, and there's a bunch in the group that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll get to them.
We'll get to them later.
Is this where we want to talk about the hosts and the mentors?
The hosts and the mentors.
So the hosts, this is the show that has the worst hosts and mentors.
Yes.
Period.
So the show is hosted by a two-man comedy duo named 99. And they, like, do not want to be here hosting the show.
They start out fine. They start out, like, pretty okay, kind of invested, kind of engaged, sure. By the finale,
they're just dead inside. They would
rather be anywhere else.
They're just dead inside.
Like, they do not want to be doing this. And it's a lot. They don't do anything. They don't really interact with any of the contestants. They don't interact with the kids at all, like usual. And it's not like the seasons where the hosts also are judges or mentors. Or, like, do any form of judging. They are only there to host. They don't actually engage with any of the rest of the show. And it's very stilted, very weird. I don't know. Also, a lot of these kids are really awkward, too, because none of them have company, so none of them have had any kind of media training. So they also don't really know what they're doing. They don't know.
They're just these, like, random 100 kids off the street, and they don't know what to do about it. The judges also... like, no one in the judges is very noteworthy.
No one in the judges is particularly helpful.
No.
Like, these judges are not...
There's one man. Who, he's like a musical theater actor. Background. He has a lot. He is also at, like, a 15 at all times when he should be at, like, a 9.
But also, a lot of what he's telling them and the advice he's giving does not seem useful or helpful.
No,
so like for as much as he's a lot, it also seems very
unhelpful.
So like these kids, I think a lot of the quality of this show also comes from the fact that these kids have no guidance, kind of. Like nothing is really. Yeah. It's all a bit of a mess. So then the show happens, we get all the auditions, all of them go into their random different
I don't remember what class honestly most of them got, so
it really does not matter. Like, we're not going to go through the classes.
It doesn't matter that much.
Watch the show. You can watch the show very quickly. Trust me.
It is.
We did it in 4 days.
Oh, you can. And it's also just on YouTube, so...
Yes. Google it. You'll find it. So their pick-me is called It's Coming. I really like it.
This is
personally.
my favorite pick-me of a produced show. I love this song.
This is this is up there for me. It's up there for me as one of my favorite pick-me's. I think a lot of the pick-me's can get very annoying.
Yes.
Especially some of the Korean pick-me's can get
Korean
very
pick-me's
annoying.
are not the greatest pick-me's.
No.
Korean pick-me's.
This one actually sounds like a song.
Mm-hmm.
That's not just, hey, I'm on... This is not the theme for
I think
television.
it's because it's not called pick me, and they're not saying pick me like 10,000 times in the song. It's like a normal song. So that's very nice.
Yeah. So for some reason this show decided to switch
round 1 and round 2 are just switched.
So usually in a produce, round 1 is just 2 groups doing one song.
It's called the group evaluation. They each just do a song, and then they battle, and it's whatever.
Yeah, there's 2 teams do the same song. This, for some reason, they decided to do
position evaluation
first, but it's also two teams
doing the same
song, but it's also position evaluation, so they're only really doing vocal, dance, or rap, which essentially means that
because apparently dancing and singing at the same time. Too difficult for produced Japan. That's too high of an expectation to just have for the kids.
First, we have to make sure they can do
in.
one of the things.
We gotta do one at a time.
One of the things, then you gotta be out. Then we'll have you try to do 2 things at once.
Mm-hmm.
So, we start with the vocal. We're just gonna do vocal, then dance, then rap, just because it's easier.
Well, yeah, we're not going in chronological order.
Yep.
It's whatever.
So, for vocal, we have the song Happy Birthday, which is the most boring of all of them.
It's just a ballad. It's just Japanese ballad song. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine.
The thing I think everyone needs to know before going into this is that when we say it's fine, I mean that there's 3 or 4 vocal cracks in all of these songs.
There is voice cracks.
Minimum.
Constant. The voice cracks are a constant across the entire show. They will be there all the time.
And even in, when we say they're good performances, even in the good performances, you're dealing with, a couple voice cracks.
At least a few voice cracks.
Everyone voice cracks at least once on...
At least once.
At least once per performance, I would say. It's it's not... it's constant.
The voice cracks are,
there's
constant.
Nothing...
Always.
There's no flawless... you want a flawless performance? Don't look in this show.
It's not the show for that.
Do not look here. Go back to Korean produce if you want flawless performances. All of these are rocky at best.
Mm-hmm.
But Happy Birthday's boring. Then they did a One OK Rock song, which immediately seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, sounds a bad idea to cover One OK Rock.
Not a great idea. So they did Where You Are. It's fine.
It's not great.
It's not great, but it's not... We'll get to the bad.
Team 1 of One OK Rock is passable, and Team 2 is just, really bad.
Bad. Then we have Tamashii Revolution, which is a song that no one wanted to sing.
The last 12 trainees were just all put in this song because not a single person picked this song willingly.
Yeah, because essentially, in produce, they have it go by, who is ranked first, second, third. They go and pick their song.
Well, oh no. So for this one, they had A class all pick their song.
And then random.
And then we did a random lottery. Yeah.
Yep, I'm wrong. I forget. I get this show. We watched 2 seasons of produce within the last week, and a lot of these pickings are very similar that I'm I cannot remember.
Yes.
What happened. But yeah, no, A class picked first. A class picked none of this.
No.
And then randomly 12 trainees were stuck with this. And it kind of shows because they did not...
This is a song sung by, the only vocal song that's, sung by a woman, so it is harder vocally to sing.
But also, it's not a great performance of this.
No.
At all.
Team 1 goes to perform. They play the song in the original key. And for 5 seconds, it sounds disgusting because
it sounds like they're dying. It sounds like dying cats. Genuinely, because they're trying to hit. For some reason, they actually start trying to sing it in that key, and then the music just stops, and you're like, "Did they stop because they sound that bad?" And then they're just told, "Oh, they sung it. They put it in the original key," and I'm like, "One, why is the song in the original key in the system for you to play?"
Why did they just have that there?
Why do you have this setting? Because neither of the teams can sing it in the original key.
No.
They're all boys.
No, they cannot sing it in the original
they can't
key.
sing it in the original key. But it's mostly passable. This is where we finally see that Ando, one of the six-pack boys and the main vocal, does this really, like...
obnoxious growling thing when he sings.
The second round performance, he does it way worse.
Oh, it's way worse than round 2, yeah. But it starts here.
You see it here, and you're like, that's a choice you're making. Mm-hmm. But, like, you're probably the best singer in this group, so I'll let it slide.
It's like, if that group didn't have Ando, like, that group's probably, like, not doing so hot. Like,
and then we have the best performance.
This is the best performance on the entire show, probably.
Relative. It's all relative.
It's all relative.
Lemon.
Lemon's a nice vocal ballady song.
Yes, it's a nice vocal ballady song. It actually, and Team 1's performance is genuinely very good. It's got very some nice harmonies. It actually has harmony. Show is my favorite.
Show is my favorite person on this entire show. I love him so much.
Yes,
we did call him Obnoxious Abs Boy for a good portion of the show. Because when he was in Six Packs, and when he walks in, he immediately just starts stripping, and I'm just like, you need to tone it down, sir. Like,
you need to relax.
Relax, please.
And I love him. He's great. And honestly, it's my favorite. It actually made me want to go listen to that song, and I really like Lemon.
The original song is very good, yeah.
It's a very good, and genuinely, it's probably the best vocal song in this whole show.
And there are still four voice cracks in there. There's multiple voice cracks still in that performance, but it is the best vocal performance on the show.
And then Team 2 is not good.
Team 2 is a lot less good.
It's a lot less good. It's not horrible, but is a dip in quality there.
They don't have a power vocal like they do in Team 1, and so they're just acting incredibly dramatic the entire time, and to make up for it, and it's just like not really working for them.
Yeah. So then we move on to dance.
Yes.
Dance is sort of where, much like in actual like Korean produce evaluations, a lot of the like more iconic, highly ranked members of the final group end up going into the dance performances instead of the vocal or the rap performances, which is always what happens.
Yep.
So they do DNA by BTS. Because of course they do. They do 2 BTS songs on this show, by the way. They do. They do 2 BTS songs. They do a bunch of TV. They do TVXQ a bunch.
They do a lot of. They do a lot of TVXQ.
Especially in second round, they do a lot of K-pop.
They do half of the songs they do in round 2 are K-pop songs.
Yes.
So DNA is where we have
DNA Team 1.
So this is where anime protagonist's storyline becomes even more anime protagonist-like, because everyone got to pick the song, and then whoever picked the song first got to choose the groups. And our boy Ong Sung-woo chose the song first, so he got to pick the teams. And Xian, anime protagonist, really, really wants to work with Ong Sung-woo. Because he's very good, really wants to work with him, and is just like praying that Ong Sung-woo picks him for his team. And guess what? He does it. He ends up on Team 2 by himself with Kygo. Kygo's also there. But he doesn't get to work with Ong Sung-woo.
Kygo's another sweet boy that we like. And now he just is like, he becomes devastated. He really wants to work with Ong Sung-woo, and he wants to prove himself that he is also, like, good and deserved to be on that team. And I'm just like, you are just an anime protagonist, dear God. Who
is also in Team 1 is 2 members of Halo, and then also I think Kang Daniel was there too, because I remember him being there.
Yep. So they do DNA. Both of these performances are fine.
They're fine.
It's weird hearing DNA in Japanese.
It's very weird hearing it in Japanese.
I do think that for some reason covering BTS is extremely difficult. Just because I'm like, I've never seen it done very well. That's the
DNA
thing.
also
Even,
weird song to pick. DNA
weird song to yeah. They're fine mostly.
They're fine. It's not bad, but it's like not good either.
Like, we're not like exceptionally impressed.
Yeah.
So then they also end up doing Highlight by 17.
Yes. Yep.
Sure. And that includes Ren and Shosei, both of whom are in UN backers, two backup dancers, and Shoya, and little Yugo, our baby.
The baby. They're all in Team 1 together.
They're all in Team 1, which is the good team.
Oh, so for all of these performances, Team 1 has all of the good members, and Team 2 is essentially made up of the leftovers. Because of the way they pick teams, where the person who picked the song first just got to pick the team. So, like, of course they're going to pick all of the better members. And then you just have Team 2 is always full of the leftovers, which is not the ideal way. I think you want to be splitting your teams on this show, but, whatever.
This is also not the ideal first round. Let's be honest.
It's not an ideal first round.
Yeah. So, in this, I also realized that Ren is my favorite person on this show, because he is just the center. He was the center in the Pick Me, and he is just the center. He's a very sweet boy, and he is
so good. He's just so good. He's so nice to everybody.
He's so sweet.
He's so helpful to everybody. He's just a really good leader at every group that he's in, and he's very talented, and he's just great. I love him.
I love him. He's
perfect center.
Perfect center, and we'll get to that. And then we have Over the Top, which is fine. I don't have anything to say about Over the Top.
nothing to say about that, yeah.
And then we have Exile the Second's Wild Wild Wild, which just caused us to spiral into figuring out what Exile is.
Exile is a lot. So it's a lot to take in.
We spiraled for 20 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck's Exile the Second is, and then just the general world of Exile. All of those groups. J-Soul Brothers. All of it.
Yep.
All of it. And it's just very complicated. We're not going to get into it.
No, because I still don't understand it, so it's fine. We're not going to
try to explain it.
Yeah.
But just if you want to just go into a very confusing thing for yourself, look up J-Soul Brothers and Exile and all of that. Have fun. But Wild 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 is actually pretty good. I like that one a lot.
It's good. They did a good job in that performance. Yeah.
They did a good job. And then for the rap, they just did 2 original songs.
No, it's one song. The rap performance is one song.
Yep.
And there is only one person of note in either of these performances.
I don't understand why they made one song for the entire rap to be a thing.
No idea.
And also, the only person that matters is 91st Place from Produce X.
Yes, and he is the high bar for rapping on this show is 91st Place Kid. And he unfortunately comes in second place. But
I don't know how. How did that happen?
Very bizarre.
It confuses me to no end of how did he lose.
I don't know why.
A lot of things on this show.
Yeah. Whoever ended up winning the actual first place in overall vocal dance and rap made no sense this round. No sense at all.
And also, none of them actually make the group, which is hilarious to me.
Yep. Because the old man wins the dancing evaluation for some reason.
Spoiler alert, he's not in J01.
He's not I don't remember who wins the vocal one.
Spoiler alert, he's also not in J01. I looked up the winners and I could not remember his name.
But Show comes Show comes in second place and then Ren comes in second place. Both of them probably should have won those categories, but
I'm not gonna say probably. I'm gonna say definitely.
Yeah.
Show, Ren, and June should have been the winners.
all should have won those categories.
But no.
No.
We end up with 3 people that are fine, but not exceptional. And when you're dealing with 3 exceptional, I wouldn't even say June's exceptional, but he's the best rapper they have.
He is the best rapper this entire show has.
I'm not going to say exceptional. He's the best one they have.
He's the best rapper on Produce Japan standards.
Yep. And then we go on to round 2, which is the group evaluation, which now we're finally realizing, can they... Oh, in the middle of this, we also then get rid of,
we eliminate everyone below 60th place.
Exactly. A third of the cast is gone.
We don't care about any of them, so it's fine.
None of them mattered.
Yes.
None of it mattered. So now we're up to group 2, round 2, The
group evaluation. So now everyone's gonna sing and dance at the same time.
Now that we have the people that can't do one of the thing out, we can do both of the things at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Half of these songs in this round K-pop songs.
Half of them are K-pop songs. This is maybe the most up and down round I've seen on the show.
It's
the
a
varying
round.
Quality in this is insane to me.
It's an insane amount of varying.
So let's start with maybe one of the worst performances of this song I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's SHINee's Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's performed maybe the worst performance of this song I've ever seen.
They almost kill a kid in this performance.
For as mean as we were to ONF, at least they didn't do this.
They didn't kill a person.
They didn't almost kill a kid.
They almost kill a kid.
Because the thing, every time someone does a performance of Everybody, you have to deal with the fact that they fucking grab Taemin by each limb and just throw him onto his feet.
Yeah.
And, like, Taemin and SHINee are, like, top tier S plus tier K-pop. Like, they can do that. These kids, I legitimately was like, oh shit, that kid might have broken his ankle.
Like, he looks like he barely lands it, and it was like, they could have killed him right there.
Like, I was 50-50 on whether that kid was gonna stand. I'm like, is he, like, that kid might have fallen badly on. Because it almost looks like he falls on his, like, he rolls his ankle when he falls.
Yeah, because he doesn't land, like, fully on his feet. He almost, like, falls backwards immediately after landing.
Like, he kind of lands, and then it's like that thing where you're trying to catch yourself, so you're trying to step back. But it looks like he doesn't step back onto his foot, he steps back onto his ankle. Which made me think, like, is this kid, like, fine? And apparently, they never told us anything. Like, apparently he's fine. But, like...
They just don't acknowledge the fact that he almost died right there.
Like, that is, like, the first... That's, like, the first 5 seconds. And then we have to watch them not be able to hit any of the notes. Yeah. Because SHINee is a very vocal-heavy group. They have great vocalists.
This is maybe one of the worst vocal performances of the show.
On this show.
It's really bad. We'll get to that other one, but this is bad.
We'll get to the worst one, but, like, this is up there for bad. And again, we were very critical of ONF doing it literally on this podcast a year ago at this point.
This one, so much worse.
This was so much worse. Not gonna apologize to ONF. They don't need my apology, but still, this was way
They don't
worse.
have the worst cover of SHINee's Everybody.
They now don't have the worst cover of SHINee's Everybody. That is
congratulations for that.
Yep. So then we also have a cover of TVXQ's Keep Your Head Down.
Again.
The second time they do this.
The second time for that song on this show.
And Ando just growls.
This is the growly vocals are full force out in this performance.
Force. It's not bad. I genuinely do. It's fine. It's a decent performance of that song.
And he can sing. Like, he's a good vocal. It's just, like, kind of obnoxious when he does it, like, constantly. And it doesn't need to.
It's excessive.
It's very excessive.
It's excessive, the amount of that he does it.
Yeah.
But, like, this performance is pretty good, but it also has good people.
It does have good people.
Talented.
Yep.
Then we have the worst performance on this show.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
They do Blackpink's do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I don't know if I said that right. That's how I'm going to say it.
Sure. It's very bad.
It awful.
It doesn't help that none of them are rappers.
Nope. They don't have one rapper. They have this one kid in a beret. I didn't even look up
beret
his name.
kid.
The beret kid cannot hit a single note.
Beret kid comes in first place in this performance too, and I'm like, I don't understand what's happening right now.
What is this beret kid even doing here? But, like, Beret Kid is very bad. And also...
Their main vocal can't hit any of the notes, like, in the song at all.
And no offense to Blackpink, but this is not a difficult song
It's not a difficult song to sing, and these kids can't hit any of the notes in this song.
They can't rap. Also, this is the only performance... Because the other thing happened with Keep Your Head Down at the same time. They don't change. They just do the song in Japanese. Yeah. So, in Blackpink's CDD... They still say Blackpink in your area. They don't change it.
Yeah.
What is the one that they do in
TVXQ? Rookie is like, it's time, and they just, like, say that.
Like, you're not you-know.
It's time.
It's time. Like, they don't change any of the lyrics. So, like, they're out here singing Blackpink in your area.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just really funny. but also they can't hit any notes.
You can't hit any of the notes. The beret kid just needs to be stopped from performing. Like,
they made the dance somehow worse, and DDD does not have
the dance
that
is somehow weirdly worse. Yeah,
and like DDD does not have an interesting or like
it's not a hard
amazingly
choreo,
difficult choreo, but they also made it
somehow worse here.
Yes. So like I think that's the low point of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go on to another K-pop song. They do BTS's Fire.
They do BTS's Fire.
And it's...
The thing is that this is, like, got, like, some of the top tier trainees in this group. Like, 2 members of Halo are here. Ong Sung-woo's here. Someone else is here. But it's, like, for them having that many people, this performance should be better.
But it's not.
But it's really not that good.
It really is not that good. It's mostly just... fine.
It's like, fine. It's not fine. Like having just watched Shiny's Everybody and then Blackpink's do. We're fine. We're not in
anywhere
comparison.
Near there. But it just seems like the most I can say for it is that it's fine.
It's fine.
It's a serviceable cover of BTS's Fire. Mm-hmm. But the thing with BTS is that it just does not have the energy.
The energy isn't there, no.
Like, they make Ong Sung-woo do, like, the Sugar Putorune part.
Yeah.
And it is...
Can't
have the impact.
Can't do it.
Does not have any impact whatsoever. I'm just like, cool. Mm-hmm. You're doing it, but it's... They also
yell at him for that in, like, the pre-performance practice where they're like, you're saying this with, like, no energy and it means, like, light it on fire. It's like, you need to have at least, like some type of energy in that. I get
what he's trying to do because Suga also doesn't, like, do it with but, like, just the aura around Suga is the aura of the I don't care, but it is a poignant moment when he does it in that song.
Ong Sung-woo doesn't have great
like he
stage
just comes
presence.
in and does it.
He's got very, like, blank facial expressions for the most part. So that's not helping him out very much.
Yeah, no. It's serviceable, but it could be better.
Yeah.
I just think that it's one of those songs where, like, if it's done, it's so easy to do it badly. Mm-hmm. And, like, just the energy is slightly wrong. If the energy was right, it'd be a great performance. But the energy's wrong. Mm-hmm.
If the energy was better, the, like, bad vocals that are happening would be kind of excusable, but, like, we don't even have that, so.
I think it would have been, like, Lemon, where, like, the bad vocals would be excused because you did, like, the general vibe of the song is correct.
Yeah. Because they had, like, the harmonies going and everything, and it was good. But this is, like...
Or even, I would say TVXQ is better than this.
Oh, TVXQ, because TVXQ has the energy. Yeah.
The energy of that song is correct for that song.
Yeah.
Even though the vocals are, like, every vocal performance in, like, every performance in the show, they're not, they're questionable at best.
Yes.
If we're being nice. Mm-hmm. So then we have EXO's Love Me, right?
Oh, they absolutely destroy it. Like, it's so bad. They absolutely destroy that song.
Baby's in this performance, too.
Baby's in that performance, and it's so sad.
Doesn't Baby do the Sehun part?
I think, he does do Sehun's part.
Shawty, I'm a party till the
sundown. Yeah.
Which is...
coming out of this kid who looks like he's 12 years old.
I mean, I'm a party till the sundown, which is like 6 p.m. Yeah, no, you gotta be home by that. Yeah. You gotta be home by like 7:30, kid. You're 12.
Yep. It's not good. No, it's not that good.
It's not like a disaster where
it's not on Shiny's Everybody do level, but it's also not good.
It's worse. I would say it's worse than Fire because Fire. Not only is the energy weird, but also like I don't think like the
vocals are like extra bad in this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the kid that does the high note, Baekhyun's high note in it. Oh my god, can he just not hit
he can't.
any of it?
Like he can't hit it.
Any of it. And I think it's one of those weird things where he's both trying to go for it and not go for it. Like he knows
he's like trying to go for it but realizes he can't hit it.
Like halfway through.
Like, yeah.
Like halfway through he realizes that this was a bad idea. I'm gonna like stop trying to go there.
Mm-hmm. In a weird way, all of the J-pop songs they covered this run are better performances.
True.
And I think it may be because we don't know the original songs that we can compare them to, so maybe that's helping it a little bit.
Maybe I can't compare what's wrong with this energy.
Yeah. So one of them they do is AAA's Wake Up, which is a one-piece opening.
Which is a one-piece opening because we were like, oh, this sounds like an anime
I saw
opening.
the lyrics and I'm like, this is an anime opening, and I googled it. I was like, oh, it's a one-piece opening. That makes perfect sense. It's also fine.
It's decent. I enjoy it.
So there are four like J-pop songs here that I have almost nothing to say about because they're not bad, but they're not good.
Yes.
Like, we're getting, like, the extreme ends of the spectrum from the K-pop songs here, and then all of these like, J-pop ones are, like, happily in the middle of, like, they're not great, but they're, like, also not bad.
Yeah, because they also do Replay, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
Rashi's Happiness, and then the Pumps If, and it's, like, I don't even know what is the actual song and what is the name of the group with these a little bit, but...
Yeah, we're kind of just assuming it's...
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
And then J-Soul Brothers Raise the Flag. Which, like, that one is very good because it's only good because they have a really good group of people covering it.
Yeah.
The song itself I do not like, but the performance is very good because they have, like, a lot of, like, your top-tier trainees in that group.
Mm-hmm. It's actually quite, that's actually probably, of the Japanese songs, it's the only one that stands out because it's the only one that, like...
Because it has, like, Ren and, like, a bunch of... I don't remember the other people. I know Ren is there. I think Anime Protagonist is there.
I think so. I think Anime Protagonist was in that one.
Yeah.
But, like, in general, I think that, like, this show is very dependent on the people performing it.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, like, all of these songs end up being... there's nothing exceptional. The only thing that's going to make it exceptional, no matter what the song is if you have, like, the highest tier group of trainees doing it. Oh, yeah,
so they have 91st Place, and they have King Daniel, and a member of Halo, also in that group. Of course they do. So, and the other ones are, one of them is Shuta, who is, like, I kind of remember him, and then Shunya. So it's like they have a good group of people, so that's why that performance is good. And then we have another elimination, and we get rid of a lot of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Up to 35.
Down to, like, 35.
Yeah, everyone below 35 is gone, and yet again, no one matters who gets eliminated here.
Nope. So then we have the original songs.
Mm-hmm. Very good original songs, I will say.
Yeah. There's one here that I think is genuinely
one of them is not great. We have 4 out of 5 really good original songs.
4 out of 5, one of which should not be good.
One of them should not be good, but it's actually very good. So
we have Blackout, which is very good. It has Show, it has Old Man, Ando. It has a bunch of people. Halo member, Sky.
Yeah.
Great.
So this gives me similar vibes to Open Up on Produce Season 2. It's like the more sexy kind of song of the ones here. Mm-hmm. It's a very good song.
Yeah. Domino is the Never.
It's Never. Period. This is the Never group of this show.
Because it has Ren, it has Junkie, it has a Halo member, it has
2 Halo members.
It has Ong Sung-woo, it has Xion.
This is Never. That group is Never.
Just Never.
Yeah.
Like, just everyone.
Even the song is also sounds kind of similar to Never. Like
a little bit.
Yeah. It's got the same vibe as Never.
Yeah.
There we have Kunchi Kita, which is a rap hip-hop song.
Yeah.
That's got Shoya and
Kaigo, which are...
They're there.
It's fine.
We've barely mentioned the entire show, but here they are.
Shoya and Kaigo are very much the members that are just... They're here.
They're here.
Cool. Then we have the song I genuinely think is bad.
This is the worst song
Boy
here.
And Yancha Girl, which is not good. It has Baby, it has Shosei, and it has...
The Obnoxious Kid. It's a weirdly too high-pitched cute song that's like not really working out at all.
It feels like it should be sung by a girl group in that it is pitched
it
for a girl
should sound
group.
Like this is a girl group song.
Not that it is like made... Even with, like, it does sound like a girl group song, but also just, like, the way it is written and the pitch that they are forced to sing it at.
It's way too high for anybody to be able to sing it well. Yeah.
Like, it's not great for them, and it sounds bad, but also it is on a J01 album.
It is.
And it also sounds way too high for them.
Because there's no way you're making, like, depending, no matter who sings that song, there's no way it's good. Like, it's just a bad song.
Unless maybe sung by a woman.
Unless you give it to a woman. Then maybe
Possibly
it's a better
then
song.
It works. And even then, I feel like even for a woman, it's too high for me to want to listen to it.
It's still just a weird song, generally. It's like, I'm not loving that song. And then this is maybe the most confusing original song to ever come out of a produced season.
Mind you, I think we just need to tell everybody, this show aired at the end. It started airing at the end of, on the end of September of 2019. So by this point, we were at like the end of November.
Yeah.
By this point, we're at the end of November. So what is the song that they make them sing?
They have an original song named Happy Merry Christmas. We have a Christmas song here. Mm-hmm. And I saw the title of this song when they were announcing them, and I'm like, they made a fucking full-ass Christmas song as one of the original songs on this show.
And we were like, this is gonna be
no, like, absolutely not. What are you doing with Christmas music in produced Japan? Like,
why? And then it happens. The only notable person is that
Ruki's
here. And we like Ruki. And no one else matters. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty good.
It's weirdly a very good song.
Like, we sort of fell in love with the J01 version of the song.
Yeah.
Because we've been listening to it on repeat.
It's got a very cute music video.
It has the most adorable music video. We love that version. But even I rewatched this version, and it is also weirdly charming.
It's weirdly, very good.
Christmas music.
I hate Christmas music.
Like, we don't like Christmas music generally.
I didn't listen to Christmas music once this entire, last year Christmas season because I just don't like Christmas music. Mm-hmm. But some reason, this Japanese Christmas song that came out of Produced Japan, I am full on board with Happy Merry Christmas somehow.
Also, it is, January and we're here
it's halfway through January and I'm still listening to Happy Merry Christmas.
It's just really charming, and cute. Most Christmas songs are not charming.
It's cute, but it's not in the weird, high-pitched, trying to be cute way that Yancha boy, Yancha girl is. It's just very cute.
Yeah, we like that a lot. It's maybe I would say maybe after Domino, it might be my second favorite of the original songs on this.
I listen to all 4 of the other songs besides Yancha boy, Yancha girl very regularly because I do enjoy all of them a lot.
Mm-hmm. I like them, but I do think something about Happy Merry Christmas is very cute.
I think I like Blackout the most, to be honest, and then Happy Merry Christmas might be second, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
So
after this round, we get into a weird kind of scandal, possibly voting manipulation thing that happens.
So after this point, we end up with only 20... They made it... In this 11-member group, they only were going to have 20 kids go to the finale, which is a weird number.
A weird number for an 11-membered group.
Yeah, weird number, because they were only going to eliminate 9. Mm-hmm. But whatever.
So before the ranking announcement episode, one of the Halo members, Hee-chan, withdrew from the show for personal reasons. And so he's gone.
Quote-unquote personal reasons.
I'd also like to say, all 3 of these Halo members consistently ranked 5th, 6th, 7th in the top 11. They were just consistently there. Easily, safely in the top 11 the entire show.
3 Halo members.
All 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And then after they do the ranking announcement and the beginning of the finale or next episode or whatever.
By the way, the Halo members, the other 2 remaining Halo members, well in the top 10.
Well in the top 10.
Well in the top 10.
They also withdraw from the show.
Because of course they did.
And it's just this seems incredibly suspicious.
This is sus here.
Everything about this is incredibly suspicious. Because I think Produced Japan realized they can't have 3 out of 11 of their members in Produced Japan be Korean.
That's probably not the best idea.
And then I think they forced that first kid, I think they forced him out, and then the other 2 withdrew in solidarity.
Maybe. It's possible. I believe that. Because it's just weird.
It's weird. It's why 1 week before you're airing the finale are these 3 kids solidly in the top 11 withdrawing from the show?
So here's the thing. There is the other thing where, around this time when this aired was when the produce voting scandal was actually causing arrests and all of that.
Oh, yes.
So, like, I think Produce Japan realized that they couldn't rig it.
Yeah.
So that they didn't have 3 Halo members, so they might have just rigged it with the,
you have to leave the show right now.
To leave?
Can we give you some money to silently leave the show right now?
We'll give you, like, here's some under the table, here's some cash, we'll set you up with a nice company.
Mm-hmm.
Shh. And then they just walk out.
And then they walk out.
I will read the statement as to Produce Japan's statement on the,
the voting
scandal, which is that they are not affiliated with the Korean production team, have a separate voting system with votes analyzed by third-party lawyers. So they never really got roped into the scandal because they have this third-party team of lawyers.
Produce Japan also is just such its own entity, really. It's just, it really just has the show format, and that it is just otherwise just its
because
completely
also
own
it
thing.
is so much less budget than Produce
the
Korea.
Budget. It's got like 1/10 of the Produce budget. Like, so low budget.
Because like in Korea, they also do an obstacle course. Remember that I think they did an obstacle course in season 2.
I think so.
Because at one point they do an obstacle course to get, I don't know what the prize is. Oh, to pick their round 2 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, to pick their round 2 songs, everyone gets their group, and then to pick the songs, you have to complete an obstacle course. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
The obstacle course is just set up essentially in like an office. Yep. They're just running through different rooms in an office that end in like a gym. And it's just, what is happening? Like, there's no budget.
Also, none of these kids were ever at any point given an in-ear for their live performance. They were given like a singular headbud, and that's it. That's all they got.
It is a headphone. It's just a headphone.
A singular headphone. You can buy.
They don't even look like expensive headphones. They look like really cheap headphones that they just gave each of these kids. And that becomes a problem for a finale performance that we'll get to.
That's all these kids were given for this entire show.
So I think that's also partially why the vocals on this show are not good.
Yeah.
Because they can't hear what they're doing.
No. That makes a lot of sense now, thinking about it, yeah.
So we go into the finale. We bring
back the people in 21st and 22nd place, one of them which is Baby, because the 2 Halo members withdrew from the show after the ranking announcement.
And honestly, that is when you realize that everyone on the show thinks of Baby as Baby, because they had grouped them off into 2 separate groups for the finale performances of the songs
debut
Young
songs,
and Grandmaster. Yeah. And everyone from the other group comes to see Baby, just like my child has arrived.
Yes.
They come to say hello.
They say hello, and they like give him all the hugs. It's very cute.
They grab him, they like fluff his little hair, and I'm just like, aw, they pat him on the head. It's adorable.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that Halo thing is just odd.
It's so weird. It's like, and we're never gonna find out why or what happened there, but it's just very suspicious.
I want K-pop tell-alls. We'll never get
I need
them,
someone to like do a deep dive into like what happened there.
Exactly. So I want to go interview the Halo members.
Yes.
So we're at the finale, everybody. Yay!
I also will say, Produce Japan does a spectacular job of streamlining the finale, because it's only an hour and a half.
Oh yeah,
like barely an hour. I think over an hour.
Yeah, it's a little over an hour, and then part of the ending of it is just them talking.
Yeah.
So it's like, it really is like an hour of actual content.
It's very good. They do a great job streamlining the finale.
Yes. It was, honestly, Produce, make all your finales an hour. They don't need to be 3 hours long.
No, we don't need 3-hour finales.
Please do not make a 3-hour finale. I don't need it. I don't want it. Mm-hmm. It's so much of my life.
Yes. Both of these finale songs, Young and Grandmaster, very good. Very good performances, very good songs.
Mm-hmm. I like Young substantially more because it has more of the interesting people.
These are probably 2 of my favorite finale songs from Produce generally, because I tend to not like the debut evaluation songs in any of the Korean produces. I don't think none of them are really spectacular. The only one I like, I think, is Crush.
Yeah, Crush is good. I genuinely agree, because I think that a lot of those finale songs seem like just rejected songs from the original songs contest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, they made a group of songs, they realized, oh, these 2 are the extras, and we'll just put them in the finale. Because the finale songs don't really matter.
They don't. At that point, it's like you're just doing an extra performance.
Yeah. Just,
not going to count for anything. Yeah.
Just to do so. I don't think it's really going to convince people that we're going to vote for someone else.
No, we just need a song that you can perform at the finale, like for specifically the finale, and that's all.
Yeah,
that's really
just so we can fill time.
Yeah.
And then we have
the
sad ballad, the obligatory sad ballad
that they do in every finale.
Yes.
This is maybe the worst thing I've ever heard. Like.
You know how I said the DDD performance was the worst performance, and that's still true.
No, this is
the worst performance that doesn't matter.
Oh boy, is this performance really bad.
They all sound like they're at different. There's 20 people trying to sing one sad ballad. None of the ballads
all of them are off key, out of sync, and like out of pitch, like the entire time.
I don't know how no one is matching pitch with anyone else.
No one is on the same page. No one's on the same page.
To sing at. And it's just all, like, it sounds terrible.
It doesn't help that the vocal standards for Produce Japan are not very high to begin with, but then we have this sad ballad, and these kids don't have proper in-ears, and they're singing it live at the finale, and it's just a disaster.
No one claps.
No one knows what to do after the performance. Everyone is just like, it's silence, because no one's like, what do we do?
And then it cuts to commercial, or it cuts. Because I'm just like, no one knows
what to say about it.
You don't hear anything. And then the rest of the finale is just them
announcing J01.
J01. So,
yes.
Do we want to do them in order?
Let's just go. Do we want to go 10 through first and then 11, or just go 11 through
Let's
1?
just go 11, because we're not produce. So, Show comes in 11th place. Yay!
Yay. Happy for him.
They have a vocal.
We
were very excited. Oh, so the only thing, because we also could not remember anybody in J01, so we just made a deal of, like, we are going to stay in this group, except if, like, 2 people, like, we're like, I don't care who's in it.
Can't stand the group.
Yes. Like, if like, 2 people make it, we're not doing this, but, like, 90% sure I didn't see them, but who knows, I could forget.
We could have.
So, Show is in 11th, Sky's in 10th, Junki is in 9th, and 9th.
Yes, 9th.
And really the thing with Junki is that we forget what he looks like
I cannot pick him out of any of them all the time. He is like, after I learned all the members, he is just the member that is left over.
Yep. Shoya is their rapper, which is how I remember him.
So it's Shoya and Junki, to me, look almost identical. And I wouldn't be able to tell them apart if one of them wasn't the main vocal and one wasn't a rapper.
Yeah.
But, like, they look identical.
I finally figured out who Kaigo was. Kaigo made it into this group in 7th place by just sort of, like, being there and, like, being pretty good the whole time.
Just not being actively bad. Like, he was
nothing
just
exceptional.
Very average. He's incredibly average the entire time, and here he is.
Rookie came in 6th, and because the thing with Rookie is we spent half the show, and then we started seeing Rookie more and more and more, and we're like, who is this kid?
Who are you?
Because, like, the beginning, like, 3 or 4 episodes, no idea who Rookie was.
No,
really
but then
mentioned.
He ranked, like, 4th in one of the thing, position things in the middle of the show. I was like, who are you?
And, like, the more the show went on, we started seeing him more and more and more, and they started talking about him more as if he's someone we should know. And we're like,
here he is.
Who are you?
Who are you, sir?
Sir. Okay, it's fine.
I will say, I had to learn about 5 members of this group after the show, because I could not recognize them at all.
Same. It was Rookie, Kaigo, Shoya, and Junki.
Yes. And Shosei. I barely could recognize Shai and Shosei, so, like, a lot of them, actually.
So, 5th place was our anime protagonist, Shion. Shion was bawling.
They announced Sky in 10th place. Shion is bawling.
Shion is, like, crying.
He's the epitome of just being really happy for his friends. Like,
he is bawling. No offense, but, like, at that point, we're just like, he is just Naruto.
He's Naruto. Like, that's just what
Naruto.
He is Naruto.
He gives me big Naruto energy.
He does have big Naruto energy.
Yeah, he's great. He was very happy for his friends, and then he gets announced and he does not cry.
He's not crying, but then he breaks down, like, mid through his speech into, like, ugly tears.
Yeah, he's ugly crying. Halfway through, he, like, has no makeup on.
Yeah.
You see his face actively get less makeup as time goes on, and he cries more.
He's just so happy for his friends. He's like,
very
so
happy,
great.
and it warmed my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
So in fourth place is Shosei.
I don't know how he got to fourth place, but he's pretty good.
Well, the thing with Shosei was also the one, like, rejected 4 times.
He got rejected 4 times in a row.
So
yeah.
in the original songs category, much like in every season of Produce, they will, like, make a group, practice in that group, and then halfway through an elimination happens. Mm-hmm. So, like, they have to
gotta
redistribute.
Yeah.
So Shosei got kicked out of Domino, and then no one accepted him, I think, in... What was it?
Maybe, like, Happy Merry Christmas or something. Or
yeah, it was one of them.
Something like that. Or the rap song. Oh, maybe the rap song.
The rap
kicked out of the rap song, yeah.
Yeah, and then he had to go to Yancha Boy and Yancha Girl.
Yeah.
So, like, he got rejected, and then the only place he went was the one where they had to take him in. So, like, It was really sad.
But I think he gets overshadowed a lot because he was in the same group as Ren, and Ren just takes up so much of the screen time involved with that you kind of forget he's there. But he is also very good. He was also a backup dancer.
Yeah. Shosei's very talented, but, like, you cannot stand next to Ren.
But when you're right next to Ren, yeah.
Like, sorry, it's Ren. Mm-hmm. 10 out of 10 times it's Ren. Mm-hmm. And then in the third place, we have King Daniel. Takumi. And then
we get to the big upset of the show now.
So we're left with, they announced the 2 people in first and second. It's Ren
and Ong Sung-woo.
And Ong Sung-woo. Issei.
Yes. And Ren has been in first place, like, this entire show, essentially.
Yes.
He came in second to Kang Daniel, like, once or twice.
And I think he came in second to, Ong Sung-woo was
Early came in second to Ong Sung-woo, yeah.
Yes. So, like, but he's been second or first this whole show.
Yeah.
And, like, Ong Sung-woo has been, like, he went to third, he went to fourth, he's been, like, in the top 10, like, was always gonna make the group, but, like, not in first. And we're just sitting there and we're like, oh, Ren is first.
Gonna win. That's the center.
Convinced.
No.
And then
Ong Sung-woo is the center.
Ong Sung-woo is the center, and we're like, excuse you.
We still refuse to refer to him as the center because Ren is the true center.
Ren is the center of this group.
Yes. It becomes very apparent after their debut song that they gave up on trying to push him as the center. And it's very funny, actually.
Yeah, because now he kind of shares it with both.
He shares it with Ren and Kang Daniel, where they do this thing in their formations where they put Ren and Kang Daniel up in the front, and then they put Ong Sung-woo behind them in the middle.
But back.
Yeah.
He's like 2 steps behind them, but technically
so he is technically in the center, but he's not in the front.
No, yeah. And, like, Ren gets more of, like, because in the beginning, especially with, like, Infinity, it does really sound like a rejected 101 song.
Infinity, you can redistribute Infinity to 101, like a 1-to-1. 1-to-1.
Like, we figured it out who gets what parts.
Yeah.
Like, everyone just gets, like, and really, the Issei Ong Sung-woo is just the Kang Daniel parts.
He is Kang Daniel.
He's just trying to be Kang Daniel.
Japanese Ong Sung-woo is the Kang Daniel.
Is Kang Daniel. It's fine. But, like, and then, like, as time goes on, like, they sort of actually make songs for J01 instead of just rejected 101 songs.
Yes.
In Japanese.
Yep.
But either way, I do love Infinity. Infinity's a great song, but it does sound like a 101
Infinity
song.
is my favorite, like, title track song that J01 has, so I love them.
Yes, it's better than any 101 song, but it does sound like a good 101 song.
Before we get more into J01 as a group, I do also want to point out, so this, to even really make the comparisons to Produce even more, there is a JBJ equivalent that came out of this show.
But it's J-pop, so it's permanent.
It's permanent. They are also permanent. Their name is Orbit. I also love them. In Orbit, all 3 members of Halo.
Yay! In Orbit. All 3 members of Halo.
We also have Baby. And we have Ando. From Absman. And we have 91st place June.
Yay!
And then also Shunya, who I forget about, but he's also here.
He's also here. He was also on the show.
He's also fine. He came in like 14th place. He's good, yeah.
He was also in the finale, just kind of there. And Orbit is great.
Orbit is a perfect group. I love
Orbit's
that.
amazing.
We
so
love
good. Orbit.
They're so
Orbit
good.
Orbit debuted in like the end of last year.
They debuted in November 2020, yes.
Yes, and they're amazing.
I also am glad we watched Produce Japan now, because if we had watched it any time before Orbit debuted, I would have been so sad that, like, because I loved Yugo and Ando in June, and I was very sad that they were just going to be in the ether forever, but now knowing that they're in a group with the 3 members of Halo is, like, amazing,
and also just
and I
knowing
love it.
that the 3 members of Halo are, like...
They said, fuck K-pop, we're doing full J-pop now.
We're in J-pop.
We're in
but
J-pop
also the 3
now.
members of Halo speak, like, perfect Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they just speak fluent Japanese this entire show.
They really do.
So they're just, the Halo members are now just in
Thriving
J-pop.
in J-pop.
Thriving in J-pop.
And then also to mention a few other notable groups. Old Man went into OWV. There's BXW, Boom Trigger, and The Savage.
The Savage is Japanese card, essentially.
Yep. The Savage is Japanese card.
I
if
also
anybody
think
was curious for
it's
Japanese
very
card.
funny because there is just a company that I think has just, like,
I mean, none of these kids had companies.
There's a company that has been established recently that is literally just picking up all of these trainees from Produce Japan and putting them into groups, because that's where Orbit is. They picked up Obnoxious Kid and they debuted him as a soloist. They picked up another 6 and they're debuting them this year in a group called Bugville or something like that. And they're just picking... It's a really bad name. But they're just picking up all these Produce Japan trainees and, like, putting them into groups now.
That sounds about right.
It's very funny. But J01.
J01, if we want to be technically correct.
So J01
I love them.
Is now our favorite group
J-pop.
to ever come out of a Produce show. Like, they're amazing.
By far.
Yeah.
Like, spoiler for when we rank all of the produce groups.
J01,
they're the best one.
First place.
First place.
Yeah.
Not a contest, not even like a close second place. Nah, it's J01, everybody else.
And it's interesting how they ended up our favorite produce group when the talent bar for this show in general was so much lower than any other season of Produce that is aired in China or in Japan. And my theory as to why is I think it's not necessarily that they're more talented. I think it's because the gap in talent in J01 is much smaller and much less evident than it is in any of the other Produce groups.
Because, I'm sorry, unless you're lying to yourself, all the produce groups have the one exceptionally talented member, and then a couple, like, mediocre members, and then, like, a couple members that are like, why are you here?
Yeah, so I think to make this, like, most apparent is, like, to look at IZ*ONE, because IZ*ONE has, like, 4 or 5 members who are above average in everything. And then they have other members who are borderline tone deaf and cannot dance and have no stage presence. And it's like, how are you making songs for a group like that when you have these members who are, you're either underutilizing your incredibly talented members, or you're making harder songs that are going to make your bad members look even extra bad. And so it's a really hard thing to balance, and I don't think there's any winning with that. Like, you're just going to have either underutilized, like, mediocre music, or you're just making your bad members look even worse. And then with, like, J01, I think, like, your highest talent bar is Ren. And Ren is, like, an above-average dancer, and that's, like, it. He's, like, very below-average to average vocalist and, like, below-average rapper.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is like very average to slightly above average to slightly below average on everything.
Yeah, it all evens out.
Yeah.
It all basically they're above average in some things, below average in other things. No one is an exceptional.
Some people are just average across the board, yeah.
Yeah, some people are just average at everything, and like no one is like exceptionally talented or exceptionally untalented.
And I think it's
just dealing with a
easier.
level playing field.
It's so much easier to make music for a group where everyone is at like the same talent level.
And that's the thing, where, like, and that's the problem with a lot of produce groups, is because of the human voting aspect, like, you end up with, because a lot of people can say that about a K-pop group, but the thing with K-pop, or the thing with made groups by companies, is that what you end up with is they can even out the talent level after years of learning about these trainees and figuring out what they're good at. They even out the talent level anyway.
Yeah.
like, no K-pop group has people that are talented at everything. Like, they even out the talent level within the group.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what somehow inadvertently happened with the voting of J01.
Yes.
By accident. Because it happened with no other produce group.
No. And I think it is just the fact that because everyone on this show, like, essentially came off of the street, that no one had exceptional talent levels to begin with. So you're like,
true.
The fact that you're gonna get like an exceptionally like good dancer or vocals, like you're like, they just like aren't on this show. True. So even like your high talent bar is still lower than what you would get on a produced show.
Yeah. I do also love that we ended up with inadvertently one of the best centers that's not an actual center.
Yeah.
We love Ren. Ren is my favorite.
Ren is just the center.
Ren is the center. He is our center. He's the people center.
J01 also the third produced group where the maknae is the center. Also.
3. How is that? That is just a theme.
The third one. Yeah.
That's just a theme that's happening.
Yep.
So that is a preview of our episode on...
We just had 2 seasons in particular that we had a lot more to say about, and we need to have like a full episode dedicated to.
Yes. And the next episode will probably come out next week.
Yeah.
So that, spoilers, is what I like to call the weirdest season of produce.
It is a trip, that season.
It's a trip.
It is a trip.
So leave your guesses in the comments, I guess, for what is the weirdest season of produce.
The weirdest season of produce to exist, yes.
All right. Want to do the outro?
Oh, sure. So hope you enjoyed this. It's very tangentially K-pop, but it is dealing with...
Look, J01 makes K-pop in Japanese.
They do make K-pop in Japanese. And this is also a derivative show of the season that ruined the K-pop industry, so...
Oh, yeah, more spoilers. Our thesis is that produce has ruined K-pop.
It destroyed K-pop. It really did.
And we'll explain more in a couple months.
We will. Because this is a really, like, we're putting in so much research into this episode that is coming out in a couple months, so just know, it will be a well-researched episode.
We will have been the only 2 people that have watched 11 seasons of this show.
All 11 seasons of Produce, yep. Mm-hmm. So, if you enjoyed the episode... We are on all basic podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And if you're listening to us there, we also have a YouTube channel where we also post all of our episodes and along with a lot of other fun clip videos and stuff. We also have a Twitter account where we tweet about when our episodes come out and also other fun stuff randomly. And an album collection Instagram, which is being more active these days. So yay.
Yay.
And yeah. We will see you in the next episode. We will probably be talking about another season of Produce. So fun.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.